Not gonna lie, there is a way out. Dual centricism and anti-centricism. Both radical. Both radical. See how that is? If you move things to a closer point, which is the camera right now, things become bigger. That's because it's driving in on it. It's getting closer to the factor that unifies them in some meaningful value-based moment. I need to lay out my 5 criteria so the channel's not paused and I'm not rage quitting. But, so, mainly, that means being balanced, like how nice you are and a whole bunch of every other thing as much as possible. Being balanced also means having extremes that are lesser but heavier. Things will shift to in balance. That's also how it balances. Like the plates tectonically. Nerd emoji. The big priority is not to balance, to ensure both liberty and authority are congruent, not opposite, in the hands of the individual and everybody. So essentially anarchy empowered primarily to the individual, but you gotta keep everybody in check. If you can assume a godly global mind that's both collective and singular, but also impartial, yet personal because it cares. It's all a little complicated. I do believe there is a very, very strong case to be made for both the Luddites and the Transhumanists together. Doesn't make sense? Doesn't have to. Imagine if you took what the transhumanists are doing, who won't just be cyborgs, they'll be like Neuralink, turbo-biological gray matter, gray goo gods. And that's not so good. So what you want to do, something like, put those synthetic artificial neurobrain things manifested with yours in like a wall rider from Outlast. Shout out Outlast series. Modify your brain, put it in a fungal network underground, become Jesus. Speaking of... my audio just said it. Synchronicities are crazy. It's likely Jesus was a very high IQ individual, obviously if he was God. But if he was a man, this is true. I'm also an extremist gray area thinker in this regard too. The way I define him and describe him, both for myself and ideally if I'm worth anything, actual baseline objective reality, is good. Assuming everyone tracked anything and we could ever retell our stories 2,000 years from now, scholars seem to have uncovered some interesting things in a book that I'll put in the description, I guess, just the title for reference. But I mean, he's kind of the most notable person in history, so he kind of won. So if anyone's close to being good, as humans are violent, intelligent, territorial, aggressive, arrogant primates. Could use another A word there, but I prefer not to go AAA. I have this thing with batteries. Basically, concern, I guess. I said in a video I'll try to quote somewhere, somehow, one way or another, that good is God. And that's basically a Petersonian perspective. You're a beta male Sonic. You gotta see that video, it's really good. 10 seconds of gold. Overall, unified into an answer. Make some heavy hitter and me. Definitions. Scientific Christian Luddite Transhumanist.